Welcome back to the program, and we are thrilled to welcome back a special guest. He hasn't been on with us in quite a while, but you know him from running for president. You also know him as editor-in-chief of Forbes Media, chairman of Forbes Media, host of the PBS News special In Money We Trust, and author now of Money, How the Destruction of Dollar Threatens the Global Economy and What We Can Do About It. Proud to have Steve Forbes back with us. Steve, welcome to the show.
Good to be back. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us and agreeing to have a few moments with us. You just between the time when we were able to arrange this interview and today, you have Senator Bernie Sanders again announcing for the presidency. Yet he is being perhaps even eclipsed by a young congresswoman who has introduced what she calls the Green New Deal, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Socialism is all of a sudden hot these days, Steve.
Well, it's bizarre when you look around the world. Venezuela, North Korea, Cuba, former Soviet Union, all paradises. That this thing would get legs here in the United States. I think a lot of the people who say they like socialism, young people who haven't been taught history the way they used to, hear the word social and say, "What's wrong with being social? Socialism." And they go in for all the seemingly free stuff. But I think most Americans recoil at it. I think President Trump was right in the State of the Union. He's going to hang that word around the Democrats' neck. And I know moderate Democrats and leaders in the party are squirming because they know socialism just means tyranny. Just take the so-called Medicare for all. Mm-hmm. They don't call it government control because they know the American people won't like that. But when you have the government controlling health care, as you have in some other countries, it means less health care. It means you wait months and months and months to get cancer treatments, to get surgeries on your hip or some other thing that you need. And that's how they control costs. They do it through rationing. Also kills research. If you want more new cures for diseases and new medical devices to make your life better when you get sick, forget it. When government controls it, that kind of research goes down the drain. We saw it in Europe. We've seen it in other countries. We don't want it to happen here.
When I hear this talk, I think I'm back in 1972 and a freshman at William & Mary in a packed sociology class and a nearly empty Econ 101 class. The difference between the two are startling.
Well, it is, and I guess that's why they invented psychiatry, to examine why we get these crazy situations where people go for this mass psychosis that you snap your fingers and you can have everything. Take that congresswoman. The idea that we can build a bridge across the Atlantic Ocean so we don't need airplanes. I mean, she hasn't heard of waves or storms. We're building a tunnel from California to Hawaii. She hasn't heard of tectonic shifts or anything like that. When I first read that thing, I thought, these must be scriptwriters trying to audition for Saturday Night Live.
It does seem like it ought to be a much better sket than I Can See Russia from My House. I mean, this is the Saturday Night Live built-in sketch. I mean, just read from it. But seriously, we are looking at candidates from the Democrats, from the already announced candidates up through again independent Bernie Sanders running again, that are looking at embracing more and more government control.
Well, that's right. The fringe of the party is taken over, and everyone fears primaries from these fanatical activists, which is why they're going along with stuff they know is nonsense. That's why, for example, the former head of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, been a lifelong Democrat, left the party. He's thinking of running as an independent. He said if he ran in that party today, he'd have to say things he knew were absolute nonsense.
Now, that sets us up with all these candidates and with this Green New Deal idea out there with a lot of people standing behind her when she announced it. Is that are we headed for a feel-good election where people's votes are going to be based on exactly how they feel, not what makes sense?
I think we're going to get a real debate about what we want this country to be, what kind of economy we want to have, what kind of opportunities, best way to bring opportunities for the American people. And I think it's going to finally get the Republican Party off of its stuff and make the case, as Ronald Reagan did, why less from the all-powerful central government is more for we the people. Make the case for tax cuts. Make the case for stable money. You know, we assume that you have 16 ounces in a pound. The gallon doesn't change size each day. You have 60 minutes in a minute, right. 60 minutes in an hour, and yet we treat the money like it's a yo-yo, and it hurts. We got to stop that kind of nonsense.
We're talking with Steve Forbes, the founder and chairman of Forbes Media, and you know him from many writings, many books as well, including a book that's out now. And we invite you not only to pick up Money, How the Destruction of the Dollar Threatens the Global Economy and What We Can Do About It, but also take it into consideration when you are headed to the polls this next election, or any election for that matter, because frankly, Steve, elections are local too. We have a lot of local people who are considering measures that even on a local level, whether it's where we live, where you live, that just don't make sense anymore. That are acting kind of on like Bernie's wild hair. I mean, it's going off into all kinds of tangents.
Right, and by the way, they can watch this film on public television or go on Money We Trust and moneywetrust.org and find it there. But in terms of some of these proposals, I mean, what do they have against cows? I mean, the flatulence from cows she talked about, Bernie talks about. I mean, the real flatulence is from those politicians.
We definitely should be recovering the methane from the Capitol. I mean, a hose out of the top. Would be.
And by the way, talking about crazy things, in my home state of New Jersey, they're now going to tax the rain because they say when the rain falls on hard surfaces, that pollutes the ocean. So they're going to put a tax on water falling on hard. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Mm-hmm. Now, conservatives need to understand that they have a message, but often we get kind of bogged down in being technocrats.
Yes.
That we kind of produce a technical message that people just don't want to hear. How do we translate that? How do we take that into something? Well, I think certainly President Trump capitalized on that, even though you might argue that he wasn't a true conservative. He is passing conservative measures.
That's right. And it's all about communications. Take, for example, the whole tax debate. When we were talking about it a year and a half ago, Republicans called it tax reform. What does the words tax reform say to most people? They have to scratch their heads wondering what you mean. Mm-hmm. When you say tax cuts, people get it right away. You're going to cut my taxes. So just basic things like that. And on health care, they just let the Democrats portray them as wanting to take away health coverage for people with chronic conditions. You almost would think that they invented the wheelchair to make it easy to have the elderly wheeled off of cliffs. The way the Republicans have to learn, and conservatives and Americans, we all have to learn to communicate and get the message across.
Are some of the mainstream entrenched conservatives, are not conservatives, but Republicans in power? Are they as much an obstacle to getting conservative measures passed as the liberals are?
I think they're learning they've got to do it. And I must say, I'm pleased with the way they've gotten judges through the Senate.
Yeah.
And they're changing the rules there because we all know that's generational. Mm-hmm. And those achievements, they don't get many headlines unless it's a Supreme Court justice, but that's good stuff. But they've got to come out with proposals, even if they know they won't pass the House. You put it out there. Like my favorite, the flat tax. Everyone knows the tax code is a horror house. Mm-hmm. Why not call for getting rid of it? Have a simple thing where you can literally do it on a postcard or a single sheet of paper, a few keystrokes on your computer, and to be done with it. The amazing thing is, a family of four would pay if you throw out that 10 million word code and all the attendant rules and regulations, a family of four would pay no federal income tax on their first $52,800 of salary. Now, that's a very attractive thing, and only 17 cents above that on each dollar you earn above $52,000, no tax on savings. Let's go after the death tax. You should be allowed to leave the world unmolested by the IRS.
Yes.
Let's go on offense instead of always reacting to these crazy people.
Well, I think there's your message there, is to go on offense instead of being reactionary. Paul Ryan said that when he went to a Trump rally, I've never seen these people before because
lo and behold.
Yes, and that should be a sign. that there are people out there that really want to see some things change.
Absolutely.
And Steve Forbes, again, just thrilled to have you as a guest here today. And we encourage folks to go and watch the PBS special. You can find it online, too, in Money We Trust, and the author of Money, How the Destruction of the Dollar Threatens the Global Economy and What We Can Do About it. Steve, thank you, and you're always welcome here.
Thank you. And moneywetrust.org will get these people to learn something
there you
some
go.
way or the other.
I'm going there. Thanks so much. This is Coastal Daybreak on the Talk Station FM 107 and AM 1240. We'll wrap it up in just a moment.